Good morning, guys, and welcome to Saturday, week 17 of my marathon training program. And today was long run day. Nice and cool, 72. So that was nice. I'm definitely not complaining about that. What's the humidity look like? Okay, not too bad. I kind of felt it, but not too bad. Anyhow, today's run went well. Actually, it went planned as planned for a change. So that was kind of nice. Okay, here we go. As far as my watch goes, one new record. Ooh, I wonder what that is. Longest run. Oh, nice. 18.03 miles. And 68 hours of recovery. All right, not too bad considering 48 hours. That's just under 3 days. So not too bad. You see my average pace was 8:22. And when it says longest run, it's because I've not run a marathon with this watch. That's why it records it as the longest run, which is fine. Any achievements? Well, of course, thank you. I like that one. Hang on, let's get a good shot of that. That's kind of good. All right, longest run. Okay, I want to see if I VO2 max. Okay, VO2 max. Okay, back to 53. That's fine. And it was that way after my run on Friday, but which is fine. Give you guys a quick idea. What does 18.03 miles look like as far as steps? Okay, there's the heart rate. Not too bad. Not too bad. There you go. Almost 27,000 steps for the day. And for those who do that 10,000 step thing, you can see I have 269% to go. All right, real quick before my shower. Yes, I did take fuel with me. Yes, I did feel like I was pretty fueled up from what I ate yesterday. So on board, I had a full pack of these. You can see I'm missing, I think actually, did I actually eat 4? Maybe I did. Okay. I'll show you that the packages came from. These are from Gatorade. I had these with me, and you might remember me talking about always having like a piece of candy in your mouth to give your brain instant sugar. This was a real nice pleaser for that. So I had that. Although I took 2 goos halfway through, and you'll look at my times a little bit, I only consumed the 1 goo. So I did 1 goo plus this and plus water. So anyhow, I'm going to go get my shower, and I'll get you guys all caught up in a little bit. See you soon. Hey guys, good morning and welcome to Saturday, long run day of week 17 of my 16-week marathon training program. Yes, as you guys know, 16 weeks didn't exactly happen, mostly because, honestly, because of work. I couldn't get off work. I was in training for this, this extra project, so it really bums me out. However, last week's run was some kind of indication that with all the bumps I did have over the prior 16 weeks, I really wasn't ready anyway. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna sit there and blame it entirely on work, because it's not like I was 1,000% race ready and work was the only thing that killed it. Clearly, life had its parts too, and so it is what it is. And so, as you guys know, I got a chance to go ahead and move that race out. So last week I mistakenly stated, I believe it was, I thought it was going to be 8 weeks. In all reality, it's 9 weeks total, so 8 weeks from this weekend. So I've got 8 more weeks of training, which is awesome. And I'm, like I shared last week, I'm definitely going to go ahead and make the best of it, and definitely take advantage of this second chance. However, this morning, you saw when I got back, I made a new accomplishment, or I set a new record for longest run per my watch, as far as, especially not during a race. So clearly, I am ramping the distance up, and yes, I feel like I've got my big boy long distance pants on, because 18 miles sure doesn't feel like 16 miles. It definitely feels different, and it's as far as like the way the body's handling it. However, before we get started, no, I'm not doing wheatgrass this morning. As a matter of fact, as I was reviewing all this information, getting ready to share this with you, I went through 2 glasses of chocolate milk. So I'm out of chocolate milk. The rest of the water that I had my Camelback, and because I went out with 32 ounces, and I came back with about 16. Fine. I mean, it's cooler weather. That's fine. And when you go for your long runs, don't worry so much about critiquing yourself as far as how much water you drink or don't drink, because a lot of it's going to have to do with A, the distance, B, the temperature, and C, your present state of hydration before you leave. And so if you can actually get the water in your body, then it just comes down to ideally trying to replace it during your run as to trying to hydrate in general during your run. And so that's why I'm not worried about drinking, consuming the better part of about 16 ounces or so during the course of my 18-mile run under cooler temperatures. I'm not too concerned about it. But the balance of that water, I went and poured in this cup, and I have some Gatorade powder that I went ahead and added to it. So I had 16 ounces of Gatorade, now empty. I went through 2 glasses of chocolate milk, now empty. And now I'm just pretty much left with my coffee, with cream and sugar, of course. And so with that, and yes, later on this afternoon, I'll do the wheatgrass, so no worries there. Why am I not doing first thing this morning or with my video? Because, as you guys know, when you guys do long runs, you really need to focus on re-nourishing yourself, recovery, and things like that. And so getting yourself hydrated, be it Gatorade to replenish your electrolytes, or water, or even chocolate milk, the sugar, the protein, I mean, and the minerals within the milk. I mean, it's helped. Every running article you ever read, chocolate milk is king. So, as you might imagine, wheatgrass probably doesn't blend well with these other things, and I don't feel like challenging that. So that's why, now that my long runs are actually long, that's why we'll go ahead and just save wheatgrass for later on. However, as I shared with you guys when I first got back, I did take some fuel. This, because I'm getting a quote-unquote second chance and I'm really going to make the best of it, working on my mid-run fueling is going to be a great practice time over the next 8 weeks to really get that down. And so this morning I shared with you guys, you saw that I went out with this packet of goo, which I consumed. Okay, these ones here, this packet is unopened. This is the Jet Blackberry by Goo, and this packet does have. It reads, 40 milligrams of caffeine. 40 milligrams of caffeine is slightly more caffeine than the quantity of caffeine you get from a 12-ounce soda. So it's 40 milligrams is kind of nice because it's enough to kind of take the edge off per se, because caffeine, what it does, in addition to being a stimulant, it also makes the concept, or actually as far as our body goes, it makes running harder easier, if that makes sense. So it kind of allows us to tolerate the discomfort that we experience as we push ourselves faster, further, over the miles. So, but it's not enough caffeine to send you to the porta potty. So, kudos to that. So I went out with this. I went out with this one, which is just a Goo strawberry banana, and no, there's no caffeine in it. I did this at the halfway mark. I'll share that with you a little bit. And then I took these. Little Goo Bites, and as I shared with you guys when I first came back, this is the package that comes from Gatorade Prime and Energy Chews. This is the package there. See that? And yes, while you can buy this at sports stores and all that, this package carries 6 of those. And just to be clear, these products, Goo and Gatorade, are not sponsoring this. This is just stuff I use. So yeah, here, this is what they look like before you start opening them up. And yeah, through the course of my run, I did consume 4. Here, I did consume 4 of those. I consumed 4 of those
So you can see the empty package compared to what they start out with. And as I shared with you guys in a couple of videos ago about how our brains need external sugar, and we can't use fat to make the brain work because kind of like the brain's made of fat. And I told you how just having a piece of candy in your mouth will help bring, with the saliva, help bring sugar quicker to your brain. And in addition to that, it also tricks your brain into believing that if you're consuming energy, it's going to be more okay with spending energy. So it's kind of a psychological thing, but there's a science behind it and it does work. And so while consuming a goo, you want to get that thing out of your mouth and down into your into the pipes as quick as possible. Whereas this, you just suck on it. I do have a Camelback that these all lived in. Actually, except for these, the goo gels, the running shorts I have, which I picked up at Sports Authority, the running shorts I have kind of have, like, first of all, they have that netting on the inside, so they kind of like swim trunks. That kind of netting that us guys might recognize, but they also right in the back, right. So like if this was my waistline at the back side, like dead center of the back, there's a zipper, like if you want to put your house key or something like that. So it's kind of nice. Yes, based on the size of it, you could probably put maybe a small cell phone in there. I've never tried any of this stuff. However, I have, it will fit 2 goos, the 2 goo gels, except I don't feel like having that weight flop around. But I put this thing back there. So this back there, it's kind of nice because you just unzip it, you take it out, take a piece of candy and you put it back. So it makes it real convenient for that. Yes, I do have a running pouch, but I'll start using in upcoming weeks, which is designed just for this kind of stuff. And I'll share that with you guys a little bit as time goes on. But it was nice to be able, be able to run and kind of refuel, so to speak. So with that, today's run being an 18-mile run, and yes, the longest run I ran for training for a marathon in, wow, quite some time, because as I shared early into my program, I really kind of adopted a lot of the philosophies behind the Hanson Brooks Project, which is, and you go back to some of my videos in the description box. Yes, I always provide you links to these things. The Hanson Brooks Project is all about never running a long run further than 16 miles. However, their concept is you run 16 today and then you'll run 10 tomorrow, back to back, so that while you're not 100% recovered, you're still running those 10 under some state of pre-fatigue. And so, and the whole concept is just to get you mentally prepared to just run under mental fatigue and physical fatigue without necessarily injuring your body through the course of running extra long miles. So that was the philosophy I always ran with for quite some time. And today I kind of broke that because I've never, like I said, I've never ran 18 miles in a training before. And will I continue for this race? Yes, because I really need to get comfortable with the speed and the distance. And so, and because I'm getting a second chance, I really want to make it count. So yes, you'll see me up my miles in the weeks to come. And yes, I'll be talking more about my mid-run fueling strategies and things like that. So with all this out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. I do have some, in addition to what we saw on my watch, when I first got back, I was able to pull up apples to apples comparison, and yes, I could see, even from last week while the temperature was, according to Garmin, was a little warmer, I could still see some progress, and I'll be happy to share that with you. So with that, today, 18.03 miles. I spent 2.5 hours out there doing it, and average moving pace overall was 8:22. I spent 1,936 calories, and I came up with a joke for that because after spending 1,936 calories, almost 2,000 calories in 2.5 hours, my joke is this: I can go to Denny's, have a Grand Slam, which is worth about 1,000 calories. I can go to Denny's, have a Grand Slam, and still lose weight. So I can go on the Grand Slam diet and still lose weight. Kind of a cool deal. No, I'm not going to Denny's today. I don't really feel like fatty sausage and really simple carbs like that. Not that I'm opposing that kind of stuff whatsoever. It's just something that right now my body's not desiring. So I'm not going to sit there and make it eat that kind of stuff, but I do like that stuff. Anyhow, going back to this. So 73 degrees, fine. Yes, the humidity was a little up, but the temperature, 33%, but the temperature was so nice and low that you really don't notice it too much. Now, to give you a quick idea, because I'm taking the same path, watch the map, watch the end here. You'll see the difference between 18 miles and 16 miles. See that? 16 miles ends here, 18 miles ends there. And so, I'll just go back and forth to you guys, so you guys kind of get an idea. And so, yeah, I'm just taking the same path and extending a little bit, kind of nice. There you go. Last week it was 81. And interesting, 81, it's been 1,829 calories. Average moving pace, 831, even though I tried that, that fartlek stuff on the way back. And today I ran 2 extra miles and only spent, 107 calories. Here we go, yeah. 107 calories more over 2 extra miles. So clearly right there is a nice improvement, especially over the speed. Real quick, the white gap here, this is where I took a break at the very end. And if you look at the block, watch this red line, because as these lines move, this black dot on the red trail moves. Lets you know exactly where on my trail, this heart rate and all these things took place. So here, white gap, see the black dot at the top? Right there at the end of the rate, at the end of, at the end of the course before I turn back. Now, and then of course, because I went out on heart rate, came back on pace. So yes, through cumulative fatigue and over the distance, heart rate did increase, which is all right. Overall, my cadence was about 182 flat. Yeah, I do admit, my body was just feeling kind of a little stiff this morning. I spent a lot of time stretching, but I didn't get my stride to open up, and I'm not too worried about it. And you can see here, even from mile 1, first mile, I finished off at 9 minutes, or just over 9 minutes. And normally you guys see that's usually about an 8:30 some change or an 8:40 and some change. So 9-minute first mile. Yeah, you can tell I really kind of took the first mile slow and easy and let my body warm up as it needed to. Anyhow, moving on. Oops, here we go. Going back here. Okay, moving on. So the first 9 miles of my 18-mile run, I went out on heart rate. Right here, average heart rate, I definitely kept it at or below 150 beats a minute. The goal was to keep it at 150. However, and again, I didn't know what my pace was doing at the time, but my body was okay. Clearly, my pace was pretty comparable to last week, and I'll show that in a moment. So I wasn't too concerned every time I looked down and I saw my heart rate was below 150. I wasn't too concerned about raising the pace to raise the heart rate, because I knew I was pushing my distance today, so I wasn't too concerned about pushing the body early into that. And so every first 9 miles, clearly on a 150 or sub 150 heart rate, these numbers look very, very well. Especially when I shared with you guys that every 10 beats per minute of heart rate, whether it goes up or down, for me seems to equate to about an extra minute pace. So in theory, if I'm doing an 8:30, let's say I'm doing 8:30 at 150, that means I should be able to do an 8-minute flat at 155. And so, to kind of demonstrate that, and real quick, this highlighted line is my break. So I spent 2.5 minutes. I didn't really, to be honest with you, I really didn't plan. It's kind of interesting because when you spend so much time running, you have a lot of time to think. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what, do I want to stop, take a break, do a goo, and then head back? I'm like, no, I think I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn. I think I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn, grab another grab another one of these little Gatorade chews, and keep going. So that's fine. As soon as my watch vibrates telling me, okay, mile 9 is up, I look down, next thing you know, my legs are stopped. They decided to go with plan A, not plan B. I'm like, all right. So I undo the Camelback. I went and got my goo and got that down as quick as I can. Basically, for those who don't do goo or not familiar with goo, you rip it open and it's kind of like toothpaste consistency without the taste. I would put some in my mouth. I would take a swig of water from my Camelback and swish it around, kind of like mouthwash. Just kind of what I want to try to do is dissolve this, so it doesn't go down as a chunk, but it goes down as just liquid, and then I would swallow it. And so I would do that. Take another bit of it, mix it with some water in my mouth, swallow it down. Once that was gone, I was up and running, and I only spent 2.5 or just under 2.5 minutes doing it, which is fine. Now, going back, because I told you I was going out on heart rate, going back on pace, I decided as a baseline figure, because all my runs from now on, my long runs, will really kind of build off of this concept. I decided, let's go back on an 8-minute pace today. Let's see, based on the science of accumulative fatigue, how far into this distance I could hold an 8-minute pace at about a 155 heart rate. And so with that, that's where my second highlighted line comes in. Because this second highlighted line was the last time I saw about a 155 heart rate. And for the most part, the pace was pretty tight. Here, yes, I lost a little bit. Was it? Okay, well, actually I went downhill. But sometimes I might be crossing over some roads, which is fine. And actually, because I'm going underneath tunnels, I'm going underneath the freeway, which is a long tunnel. Going out, I really didn't run into anybody. Coming back, there were some apparent homeless people under these tunnels, awake and interactive. And so, while they didn't disturb me in any way, shape, or form, still approaching them in a semi-fatigued state, I certainly wasn't as fresh with the legs as they would have been had anything came up. So, again, you slow down, you kind of assess the situation. And my camera is telling me it's time to change the video, or time to change the battery. So with that, I'm going to pause this and get my battery changed. All right, now that we got the battery changed, let's pick this up. During my last battery, I was talking about the homeless people, and so yeah, when you go underneath the tunnels, and yes, they are courteous. They tend to move out of your way and things like that. But it still kind of throws you off your game, because you tend to slow down a little bit, because in both situations, normally if there's one, they usually sleep up against the wall. No worries there. But in a couple situations today, there was a group of them and a party of 3, and so I think inadvertently you tend to slow down your pace a little bit, because you want to assess the situation in order for you to negotiate your way through that situation, with little or no interaction with them, so to speak. So I think that may have contributed to being off for a couple seconds. But anyhow, so we see split number 15, which is really mile 14, because split 10 was a break. So during mile 14 was the last time I saw the 155 something range for an 8-minute pace, which is fine. That's fine. Still 14 miles in the game with this heart rate, certainly not complaining. And then after that, finishing this off, still maintaining a pretty tight 8-minute pace. And the goal here with the 8-minute pace, the goal was try to stay within 3 seconds. Don't get super speedy and make it 7:55s, because that's kind of defeats the purpose. So 3 seconds either side of 8-minute pace was my personal, acceptance or tolerance. And so other than the 8:04, during the 8-minute pace part, I clearly worked within the boundaries I set, which is fine. And even then, hey, you know what? 18 miles into the game, your heart rate wasn't creeping up too bad for holding this pace. I do admit that at the beginning, because my body was so used to the whatever you want pace, kind of that was what I was doing. The first half of it being on heart rate was the whatever I want pace, as long as the heart rate numbers added up. And now going back, the body had to do a let's do this pace, and I found it was a little on the slacking side. I'm not going to argue. I do admit that for the first few miles, I found myself trimming the fat, so to speak, towards about halfway or the last quarter mile, where I'm like, all right, time for a quick sprint to bring these numbers down. So I hit my 8-minute number. Of course, when you do that, and then you watch laps, now you're doing a 7:45, 7:50 going into your next split. So then you're sitting there slowing yourself down to adjust. But I learned after that, just go along with it. Try to hold your 7 whatever something pace, because you know you're just going to kind of fade away into the 8-minute pace anyways, which actually worked out. So all in all, I can't really complain too much. Actually, I can't really complain at all about the run. 18 miles, nice and long. Yeah, you can see with my legs, as far as average run cadence, not pulling any of those 180s like I was doing last week. Kind of got into the 182, 183 here. Okay, that's fine. You guys know I'm still trying to overcome that. But this is the cool part. I always told you guys, usually about mile 5, I noticed like my body really warm up and my calorie consumption start to reverse, and I've shared that with you. Now this morning, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can see here, you might say mile 3, but technically mile 4 was the last mile. I saw the 110 area, and then it drops off. Why does it pick up here at the 109? I think it's because the heart rate started picking up, the average heart rate started picking up. But still, I was below the 110 range, makes me happy. Even after this break, I start taking off, and voila, first mile, 95. Would have liked to see that more. And even then, the low 100s until this mile, which was split 16, which is mile 15. Mile 15, we know that my heart rate starts creeping into the 160 range, and so the calories the calorie consumption starts creeping up a little bit. But all in all, not too bad. Now, real quick, I want to show you guys that comparison. Okay, let me get this set up here. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. Here, so this is last week's our 16 mile run. Why do I say ours? Like as you guys came with me, kind of weird. Anyhow, and all right, let's see if I kind of got this lined up. Average run cadence. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get this lined up before I switch this over, so that you guys are kind of looking at the same stuff, so to speak, or it makes it easier to toggle basically. Okay, hang on. All right, here we go. So here we go. This is this week with all of our nice highlighted lines, and now we're going to go to last week, and I already highlighted split 10. Split 10, which of course was the halfway for last week, even though split 9 wasn't a full mile, just a smidgen over. And now going out, you could see I was running pretty tight with the 830 range, pretty tight on the 830 range on a 151. I think you'll agree 151 is a good average. Well, really tight there. Whereas today, I was definitely in the teens or the 20s, okay, kind of all over the 20 board, in the sub 150 range, except for these last few. So that to me says progress. I'm happy with that. Now, in addition to that, and of course, going back, we can't really compare apples to apples, because my heart rate was all over the board, because I was doing this fartlek stuff, and that just totally jacked up the heart rate. But going apples to apples, the first half. This is the part I was talking about as far as trying to find something to say improvement's been made. You know what I mean? So with that, I feel pretty good about that. And something else I did detect when I was reviewing all this stuff was last week training effect was 5.0 because of my little fartlek stuff, whereas this week training effect is 4.9. Not too bad. Now you're saying, what's the big deal, Mark? It's like 1/10. But I ran 2 extra miles, and you saw at the very beginning, average moving pace was faster this week. So, sorry, that's the dryer. So I call it my R2D2 dryer. But so average moving pace was a little faster this week overall, and the training effect wasn't as steep. So not too bad. So that, again, little things like that to me say progress and makes me happy. Now something else I want to share with you guys, and I don't want this to get too crazy today, was Mount Lemmon. Mount Lemmon is where I will be because I've confirmed my transfer of registration. So Mount Lemmon is where I'll be on November 12th. And this gives me 8 more full weeks of good training, which I certainly plan to make the best of. And I want to share with you just some quick, some nice pictures of the course. And here we go. So this kind of gives me some idea as to what I might be seeing when I get out there. Pretty, just nice out there in the middle of kind of nowhere. Well, outside of Tucson anyways. That looks really nice. That looks pretty. That looks like it's going to be a fun place to run. And of course, when you see it from above, it doesn't look as pretty, but kind of gives you some idea as to, at least part of it, where part of it comes from. And maybe part of it's up here too. I see a road up here, so who knows? And I think that was the last picture. Yeah, that was the last picture. So that kind of gives you some idea as to what I may get the pleasure of looking forward to when I get to run Mount Lemmon. And I've got some ideas in play to where if I can get them figured out, I'll be able to sit there and bring you guys with me, so to speak, and I'll fill you guys in more as that time gets near. So should my idea really play off, while some of you, and I really appreciate it, some of you do participate with comments and questions and things like that, and while others do not, I understand it's the nature of the game. If my idea really comes together and I can bring you guys with me in some way, then you guys are going to really need to participate in the comment section in order to make this happen. So, so with that, before I go, I just want to share with you guys my apologies for not doing a Thursday video. I didn't run Thursday, and this is the reason why. Let me get this pulled up. All right. As you guys know, I've been really having a lot of issues, just kind of coping with dealing with not only the loss of my mom, but also almost on a weekly basis having to go back to her house for some reason. And 2 weeks ago, I done one final cleaning, shampooed the carpets one last time, and I never went back into the house after I did this 2 weeks ago, so I don't know if my mom's spot really was finally pulled up or not. And without getting like gory and things like that, because of the nature in which my mom passed away, it wasn't pretty, and there was blood on the carpet, a lot of blood. And so I'd spent 3 different times shampooing this out of the carpet, and so I don't know if the last time all of it came up or not, because what happens, you get carpet so wet it just wicks up from the padding. So while the carpet looks good, as the carpet dries, the dry carpet pulls the wet moisture from below up and creates a wick. And so so that's what I was doing 2 weeks ago. However, the house did close this last Wednesday. The Klaus did close this last Wednesday. Here's the picture I took as I left my house keys for the buyers. No, I did not meet with them face to face. Mostly, apparently, per their request or their wishes. They asked me just to go in and leave the keys in the mailbox. I chose to leave them under the doormat, and so this went down on Wednesday, and it was a really difficult time for me because oh, hang on, sorry, I was going to show you another picture. Because this here, believe it or not, this was my mom's house. Yeah, she lived in a single wide mobile home in an adult community, like a 55 plus adult community. And so this home here is what I knew for 20 years. My mom lived there for 20 years. And last Wednesday was the last time I planned on ever visiting that house again. No, I didn't go in. I chose not to. I didn't want to see the inside because I promised myself 2 weeks prior, 2 weeks prior when I was shampooing the carpets, I promised myself then that would be the last time I'd be inside the house. And so I didn't go inside. I just kind of walked around, took some pictures. Of course, took the for sale sign out the front yard, and left the keys. But it was a very surreal moment for me because while finding your mother passed away in a not very peaceful kind of situation, if that's not easy enough, or if that's not hard enough, having to go back almost every week for some reason, whatever, just kind of keeps the wounds open. It keeps all that open. And so while you think you're healing, you're really not, because you're revisiting, basically the scene of the crime, so to speak. And while she died of, and I would say natural causes, but from an apparent accident, the crime was that she left earlier than she should have. That's the crime. In my opinion, that's the crime. And so for every week, for the last 3.5 months, going back for something, always kept that wound open. It didn't allow me to really say goodbye, because while it hurt, while going back there, and this house is like 30 minutes from my house, going back there was never easy, though I did it because, you gotta do what you gotta do to help out family. It kept the wounds open. So I never got a chance to really heal. And as much as I hated going back, at least I could always go back and visit that spot, that place. So it really didn't, to some degree, it didn't really force me to really start healing, because I could always go back and visit, if that makes sense. And so Wednesday was going to be the last time I was going to see that house, outside or inside or whatever. And no, I have no reason to go back there. I have none whatsoever, and I don't plan to, and I'm okay with that. But saying goodbye was hard. Knowing that chapter or that era in my life is finally over, it was hard. It really was hard. And so by the time I got home, it was, wow. It was probably about 6:30 or so, and you figure I'm up at 4 a.m. to go running, which means I need to be in bed at 8. So trying to wrap up my day once I got home in 90 minutes, I wasn't going to force myself to do that. I really wanted to take the time to just be in the moment. Just be in the moment and experience the feelings I was experiencing, so that I can come to terms with them. And let's face it, it wouldn't be the first time I missed a run. So I certainly wasn't going to sweat it. And besides, because of the sensitivity of the situation, I didn't want to force myself into any sort of disciplined time regimen. And that's why I elected not to run on Thursday. And so that's the reason for that. But as you can see, I took the time I needed to mourn and grieve and close. And yes, the healing will continue, probably for months, or so. I don't know. People tell you different things. But I know that at least now, I could put that behind me. And so moving forward, my training, my training should go smoothly. I hope it will. Today's run, I believe, has been a real commitment to, or a real example to my commitment to my training. I've clearly been able to, show progress in some way, and also, I broke the 16-mile barrier, something that clearly my watch has never seen me do, again, with this given watch. So I'm definitely dedicated to, meeting my marathon goals and things like that. And I just want to share that with you guys as to a little bit more on what all that was about. Hang on. I thought there was one other picture I was going to share with you, maybe not. All right, here, without getting like gory and gruesome or anything like that. This picture here, this is like the inside of my mom's house. I took 2 weeks ago after I shampooed the carpets, and if you can see my cursor, this is where I found my mom, at the end of the hallway. At the end of the hallway, there's another bedroom here. That's where I found my mom. And so, yeah, it is very hard. It's been very hard. And every time I went back to the house, for whatever reason, I would see that spot, and all those memories would come back. And so now, now that part is gone. That part is finally over. And so I don't have to go back. And no, I'm not going to look at it again. And so I wanted to share that with you guys, because I know this entire, pretty much this entire training program, if I'm not dealing with leg pains, which truly are legit, or the loss of my mom, which truly is legit, it's been a roller coaster. And I appreciate you guys for sticking around and enjoying this for whatever it is. Some of you have shared details with me, and I truly appreciate that. Thank you. Others, I would like to hear from you. I don't know necessarily what you like or dislike, from my videos, and so I would like to hear from you, because you are part of my family as far as this journey goes. And to be honest with you, nobody outside of you guys and I knows the details of my training experience any better. You guys know more than my friends do, more than my family does, more than my coworkers do. You guys know more than all those people do with regards to how training is going, and if I've been having any issues pertaining to training. So I hope you guys enjoy that, because like I said, the people I really know face to face don't know any of these things. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I probably rambled on a whole long time between two batteries. And so in short, you can say I made the Big Boy Running Club, if you want to call it that. I just call it that because it's definitely further than 16 miles. And yes, 18 miles feels like 18 miles. And it's not so much the distance, to be honest with you, because you got your earbuds on, you're running your music. I definitely saw some things, along the course I never saw before, only because I went further. But it's more about experiencing your body and getting to better understand how your body feels as the time on the feet, seems to accumulate, and the fatigue that goes along with it as time goes on. And so, yeah, it's only going to get worse, so to speak. But at the same time, I know my body will adapt. So I look forward to where the miles go and the weeks come from here, or go from here. So with that, my question to you guys, for those of you who wish to participate, and I really would like to hear from you guys, because those of you who do write comments, I always interact with you guys. My question to you is, presuming you ran at least one marathon. Now, if you've never run any marathons, but you're training for your first, then you can still answer this question. So, my question is, for all of you, be it your first or your umpteenth marathon, how long is your longest run, and how many times do you try to run that during your marathon training in preparation to run a race? So, answer that question. I look forward to hearing from you guys. If you have any other questions or comments, please post them below. If you like today's video, please hit the like button. And if you're new to my channel, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I post a new video. Be certain to subscribe. Tuesdays are generally interval days. Thursdays are generally tempo run type days. And Saturdays are always long runs. And if you're new to my channel, I only share things like this because it's my life, and it does interfere with my training. Now, most of my videos, like most all of them, are not gloom and glory or gloom and doom and things like that. So I definitely try to pick up different topics every week, and of course Tuesdays and Thursdays, because I have to run to work afterwards. Those are usually my shortest. But anyhow, I thank you guys for joining me this morning with today's run, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. So you guys have yourself a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Take care.